Oh, great.
You know what I just keep thinking?
What?
I'm thinking Josh would like to do this.
I was
Hold
thinking
up a sign,
the same
like,
thing.
Don't do it.
We're
Leave
gonna
it
see
to
him
the pros.
next 4th of July. He's going to be out there with the sign.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, don't light off fireworks.
I know.
It's too hot.
That's what I just kept thinking of. So funny. Well, we'll talk to him in just a few minutes. But right now on Good Morning Northwest.
A fire on the Greenway in Yakima had multiple fire crews responding. Now we have the details.
The Department of Natural Resources has declared a statewide burn ban, and the state is also mobilizing fire assistance, which you need to know coming up.
The West Richland Police Department is getting over $36,000 to help prevent car thefts. We have how they plan to use the money.
And today definitely would be the worst day to shoot off fireworks unless you want to get a good stern talking from me. So I'll show you why today is going to be so dangerous coming up right now.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest. On your side.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica DeLull.
And I'm Jill Sperling. It is Thursday, July 11th, and I never want to get a stern talking to from Josh
Not
Colbert.
from Josh, no.
No, I feel like he would
do
let
have
us know.
paper here. We could give it to him and he can start making some signs.
Yeah, just come behind the desk, hold
There
up
we
the
go. Yeah,
sign.
just walks past us while we're angry. That would be funny, but we'll check on him with the forecast right now. So Josh, where are your signs?
My sign MIA right now, but you know, I have a finger and I can wag it. I can definitely try to throw some shame out there, but above all, we want everyone to stay safe out there for today, of course. And we are going with the first alert, extreme impact fire day for today for the entire viewing area. So it's still going to be pretty hot. We are thankfully past the peak of the heat wave, but still hot. The fuels will still be very dry, and it's going to be windy today, especially for the Kittitas Valley. So here's some tips to stay safe for today. Avoid tossing burning cigarettes on the ground. Avoid parking hot vehicles on dry vegetation. Gather your fire evacuation kit now. And of course, don't dabble with the fireworks today. That, you know, it doesn't even have to, I don't think it should have to be said at this point. On to temperatures, 50s, 60s, and 70s for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. It's the same thing for the lower Columbia Basin, and 60s and 70s for the foothills of the Blues. So a little bit later today, yes, we'll still be hot. We'll still be up around 100 for the Tri-Cities, but only 10 degrees above average as opposed to 20 degrees above average. And I'll tell you, we get any relief from this kind of heat if that's on the horizon, and that's going to be coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. And starting off this hour in depth, we're seeing very dangerous fire weather. And because of this, Washington State Patrol and the State Fire Marshal's Office is offering help to local fire stations.
The state mobilization came at the request Tuesday night of Lower Columbia Fire Defense Region coordinators. Apple Valley News Now's Monique Ledesma talked to the State Fire Marshal's Office about what exactly state mobilization means.
What this means is that the state will be sending firefighters from Olympia to help fire crews in the lower Columbia area to avoid fires from getting out of control. I spoke with Bill Slauson, the Chief Deputy State Fire Marshal, and he says these are the resources that are being made available and where.
Any of the fire districts can make a request for additional resources and based on, meeting the criteria. So like on this request, we have a strike team of engines, one each in Kittitas County, working out of Cle Elum, Yakima County, working out of West Valley, and Klickitat County, working out of Husum.
The Department of Natural Resources declared a statewide burn ban, and the reasoning for these assistance, Slauson says, comes after the excessive heat and fires we have seen.
We have some criteria like predicted hot, dry, and windy weather with red flag warnings, coupled with higher than normal fire potential in what we call the 7-day outlook, and join that with kind of an operational tempo locally. Are they getting a lot of fires and wearing their folks out day after day on wildfire? So a combination of those three can get them some extra resources so long as they're available.
This aid, Slauson says, is all about keeping wildfires to a minimum.
Well, hopefully it's got some extra help right there in their pocket, so to speak, to help them take care of that fire. And the idea behind pre-positioning is so we give them a few extra resources for a day or two, and that prevents a larger, more destructive fire from happening.
Slauson says that these resources will be available until tomorrow, but could be extended if the red flag warning continues. Reporting in the news station, Monique Ledesma, Apple Valley News Now.
In more fire news, Yakima firefighters responded to a fire near Nob Hill Auto Wrecking. This is on South 24th Street and State Route 24 near the Yakima Arboretum. Suncom 911 says many crews were on scene fighting this fire.
According to Yakima firefighters, there have been many fires on the Greenway the past 2 summers, and they take crews away from the city and limit responses from emergency calls or for emergency calls. And we'll update you once we know more information about this fire. Also, fire crews battled the heat in a house fire in Kennewick last night. Firefighters responded to a home on South William Street and 4th Avenue just after 10:30.
When the crew got to the scene, they found flames and smoke coming from the home. At this time, it's unknown if there are any injuries. The inside of the home has smoke, fire, and water damage, and more information is expected to be released later this morning.
A vegetation fire broke out in the Finley area yesterday morning, and the fire broke out on Meals and Hover Roads right near J&S Orchard around 9 a.m.
Some trees were burned and roads in the area were shut down for a little over an hour. No one was hurt, and firefighters stayed on scene much of the day, mopping up and ensuring the fire did not reignite. No word on a cause. While even on some of the hottest days in the Tri-Cities, firefighters still have to gear up to serve the community. The Pasco Fire Department put on their protective gear and got to work at a house fire yesterday morning. So a home on Riverview Drive in Pasco caught fire just before 9 a.m. At that point, temperatures were already in the 80s. Fire officials say they were able to save the house, but it does have some serious damage. We asked them how they prepare to handle additional heat when the weather isn't cooperating.
We have a rehab center set up. Our folks go in. They usually go through one tank of air. They come out and they're going to decon, and then they're going to get some rest, cool down a little bit, drink water, and then we also take their vital signs and make sure that their bodies are reacting accordingly.
No firefighters or residents were hurt during the fire, and officials say it was under control within about 5 minutes of firefighters arriving to the scene. The West Richland Police Department is getting over $36,000 to help prevent car thefts in the city. So the funding is from the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority, and it's meant to help create and maintain programs that prevent this type of crime. The money also supports auto theft task forces and prosecutors and helps provide officers and detectives with training and equipment. Over $2.7 million has been distributed to 41 police and sheriff's departments statewide. Across the state, there were more than 40,000 car thefts in 2023, but that number is trending lower this year. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Washington is asking the courts to condemn an alleged drug house in the 100 block of Ruby Street in Ellensburg. According to the civil forfeiture complaint, the property has been a hotbed of drug usage and drug dealing for years, racking up more than 300 visits from the Ellensburg Police Department over the past decade, and that's including for assault, overdose, and animal cruelty. The complaint also claims EPD conducted multiple controlled buys of illegal narcotics, including fentanyl, meth, and heroin at the home, which is just down the street from a preschool. The goal to get that conduct to stop.
Have the home be removed from the current ownership that's allowing the conduct that's listed, and then be a resource for having a thriving community rather than creating a risk for our families and our children.
If the complaint is successful, federal officials say they plan to turn that property into something that will be a resource for the community. Straight ahead on Good Morning Northwest, Costco is raising its membership fees, how much the price is going up by, and when this is starting. And Costco memberships are not the only thing increasing in price. Something else is going up for the second time this year. I'll tell you what, coming up in your consumer news.
From Apple Valley News Now, this is Medically Speaking.
Here at the clinic, we offer our medical weight loss program. Diabetes, and more broadly, insulin resistance, is a highly inflammatory state that increases our risk of cardiovascular disease, cancer, as well as Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases.
Basically, it's the lack of awareness about what's creating that weight. There's lots of psychological aspects to that, so that where you come to is to a more centered place of feeling good and connected and positive about yourself. Self-confidence.
You have access to over 100 weekly group fitness classes, top-notch fitness facilities, cutting-edge scientific therapies integrated into your program, and dedicated coaches rooting for your success. We also offer options for pharmaceutical assistance. We create patient-specific game plans centered around the 7 essential elements, which are sleep, nutrition, atmosphere, breathing, movement, thought, and purpose.
So rather than just focus, it's not dieting and it's not focused on dieting, and that's not what we do here at Pacific Clinic. It's mind, body, physical, emotional, mental, and the combination of all of those things. And I think that makes us tremendously different than any of the other programs out there.
To get started, call 509-783-5465 and schedule an appointment with a client advocate today.
Choice Student Checking. Open yours today at any Yakima Federal Savings and Loan.
Workers and the families of deceased workers who worked at the Hanford site are now eligible for compensation for diseases and illnesses. This may be in addition to compensation already being received. Smart Law will be hosting a Hanford Workers' Compensation educational dinner at their Kennewick office Thursday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. To register, call 509-735-5555. Dinner provided. Smart Law, smart choice.
Operation Best Friend on Good Morning Northwest, sponsored by Windermere Group 1.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. In your consumer news this morning, Costco is raising its membership fees. The increase set to go into effect September 1st. Basic members will pay an extra $5 a year, bringing the cost up to $65. Executive memberships are going up $10 to $130. It is the first membership price hike in 7 years, but it should help keep the other prices down at the store. Last year, Costco made $4.6 billion from membership fees. Well, it's also getting more expensive to send a letter. For the second time this year, the price of stamps is going up. Starting Sunday, the price of a first-class Forever stamp is increasing from 68 cents to 73 cents. That's a 5-cent jump and an increase of more than 7%. The U.S. Postal Service says price hikes are needed to achieve financial stability as part of its 10-year plan announced in 2021. With the price of stamps about to go up, now may be a good time to stock up. Up next on Good Morning Northwest, AOC has introduced the articles of impeachment against 2 members of the U.S. Supreme Court. We've got the story in your political news when we come back. But first, Chief Meteorologist Josh Culbreth will have your First Alert full forecast. Stay with us.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of Ford vehicles, like the Built Wild Bronco family, with a deal you just can't miss. So make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now.
Dishwasher on the fritz. Laundry giving you fits. A water heater that quits. In a world without Culligan, hard water makes life harder. Get a Culligan softener, the world's best. Put your water worries to rest.
Tiffany Smiley is not who she says she is.
Tiffany Smiley started a PAC claiming to raise money to support conservative candidates, but contributions were funneled to pay off her own $1 million campaign debt.
Of the almost $800,000 she raised, only $24,800 went to candidates. Instead, Tiffany used the money on luxury travel and to try to pay off her massive debt.
Tiffany Smiley deceived her donors. Don't let her deceive you.
I'm Dan Newhouse, and I approve this message.
There's nothing more exhilarating this time of year than traveling the open road in an RV. At Broadmoor RV, our family has been so dedicated to helping you discover America the Beautiful. We make it a point to carry the top brands in the industry at prices you can afford. That's why Broadmoor RV is the #1 travel trailer dealer in Washington State. Family owned and operated for almost 30 years. Broadmoor RV Superstore, your destination in store in Pasco.
I think this is my favorite. Okay. What do you think of this one?
From design and products to removal and installation, Rebath is with you through every step of your remodel. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,000 off your complete bathroom remodel.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of Ford vehicles, like the Built Wild Bronco family, with a deal you just can't miss. So make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now.
Apple Valley News Now, recently honored by the Society of Professional Journalists with first place awards for general excellence, breaking news, health reporting, and video series. We all like awards, but our mission is to serve you with news that gets results. We are Apple Valley News Now, on your side.
Elephants have names for each other in their own elephant language.
I can say Kelly an elephant.
Go for it.
Next 5, Tyler Berry. Today at 9 on Apple Valley News Now.
Good Morning Northwest streams all day at applevalleynewsnow.com and our mobile apps. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colberth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. It continues to be a pretty mild/warm morning for most of us as we're in the 50s, 60s, and 70s for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. Same thing. It is the same thing for the Lower Columbia Basin, and 60s and 70s for the foothills of the Blues. A little bit later today, it's still going to be hot, but instead of being 20 degrees above average, we'll be 10 degrees above average, which means mid-90s for the Kittitas Valley, near triple digits for the Yakima Valley, likely breaking 100 degrees again for the Lower Columbia Basin, and then we'll be just shy of 90 degrees for the most part for the foothills of the Blue Mountains. Today is going to be another blustery day, especially for the Yakima Valley, for the Kittitas Valley, and for the Cascades, as winds will gust out of the west-northwest between 20 to 35 miles per hour, the fastest wind gust being in the Kittitas Valley. And that spells trouble because the fire fuel energy, well, the fuels are very energized today, as they'll be up into the 99th percentile compared to historical values for both Kittitas and Yakima County. So fires could start and spread very quickly in these conditions. The same thing for the Lower Columbia Basin, also up into the 99th percentile, the 98th percentile for the Blue Mountains, so almost maxed out there as well. And then for tonight, the winds will calm down for the Cascades, but they'll still gust between 20 to 35 miles per hour for the Yakima and Kittitas valleys. Overnight lows are going to be a little bit cooler compared to what we have for this morning, and skies should be pretty clear. But back to the temperatures for a second. Most of us will be in the 60s, although we could get some low to mid 60s for the foothills of the Blues. We'll be just about as hot for Friday as we will be for today, and then temperatures holding pretty steady after that. So yeah, not as hot as we were over the past couple of days. We're definitely past the peak of this heat wave at this point, but still this kind of heat being sustained for the next 7 days at least. And given that this will be a sustained heat wave, it's still a heat wave if you want to think of it like that, which means that the fuels are going to continue to be very dry, which is why we're going with the first alert extreme impact fire day again for Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, with great emphasis on Monday and Tuesday, just given some of the lightning chances we could have. But for Friday, it's just going to be a continuation of what we have for today. Fire fuel energy up into the 99th percentile for Kittitas and Yakima counties, the 97th percentile for the Lower Columbia Basin, and into the 99th percentile for the Blue Mountains. And it's going to be these kind of values that'll still exist by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and that spells trouble just given some of the lightning chances we could see. Here's the 7-day forecast for the Cascades. Highs in the 70s for the next week, and then for the Kittitas Valley, windy today, which will of course prompt that very, very tough fire weather, but winds will relax a little bit after that in Friday and beyond. For the Yakima Valley, highs hovering right around 100 for the next week. For the Lower Columbia Basin, highs also mostly around 100, although will be a little bit closer to 105 for Saturday and Sunday. For the foothills of the Blues, highs in the 90s over the next 7 days. And then for the Blue Mountains, we'll track that chance for lightning over dry fuels, which could prompt many fire starts. Again, we'll continue to track that potential closely for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Thank you, Josh. We turn to political news now. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is taking action against two members of the U.S. Supreme Court. The Democratic lawmaker from New York has introduced impeachment articles against Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito. She says their failures to disclose millions of dollars worth of gifts while on the high court, quote, represents nothing less than a constitutional crisis.
I believe that everyday Americans, independent of party or ideology, can reasonably conclude that Justices Thomas and Alito's years-long pattern of misconduct and failure to recuse in cases bearing their clear personal and financial involvement represents an abuse of power and threat to our democracy fundamentally incompatible with continued service on our nation's highest court.
This effort from Ocasio-Cortez is expected to fail in the Republican-led House of Representatives. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, you may be like me and may be scared of snakes. But what if I told you someone tried to smuggle snakes in their pants? I'll tell you what I'm talking about when we come back.
Warning, your air conditioner unit needs service. Would you like me to call Bruce?
Yes, call Bruce.
Thanks to today's modern technology, it's never been easier to call Bruce Heating and Air. When your AC unit needs serviced, call Bruce.
Oh my gosh.
Let's get this party started.
Just make sure you call the right Bruce.
Now through September 30th, receive rebates up to $1,850 off on a new Daikin Fit system when you finance through Bruce Heating and Air. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
I have worked with Senator Curtis King for the past 2 years, and I know how much he cares about the constituents in his district. He is well respected by both parties. He is results oriented, and he works very hard for the district.
We got to elect Curtis King. He has a proven record. We're very lucky to have him as a representative in the Senate.
There is no better candidate for the job than Senator Curtis King.
I'm Senator Curtis King, and I'd appreciate your support. Thank you.
Join us Saturday, July 20th in historic downtown Prosser for the 20th annual Prosser Art Walk and Wine Gala. Sip award-winning wines and craft beer while strolling creations from artisans throughout the Pacific Northwest. Enjoy live music and a variety of food trucks for an evening not to be missed. Tickets are just $20 and on sale now at tourprosser.com/artwalk.
Whether you're most at home surrounded by lots of friends, hanging with your one best friend for an afternoon cruise, or...
No way! Not a chance. Could you show us something with a little less horsepower?
I was thinking the same thing.
At McCurley, we're here to help you find the vehicle that's right for you, because it's your way home.
Find your way home in a Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle from McCurley Mazda.
These are real people seeking solutions to real problems.
I have plantar fasciitis.
Pain with my feet, my knees, hips, and back.
And then they were fit with Good Feet arch supports.
I definitely feel the heel-to-toe walk.
I'm not feeling any pain, especially in my heel. That's where I always feel it.
I don't feel the knee pain. I didn't notice any pain in my back. I feel like I could walk all day in these.
Oh, you're a blessing in disguise.
Try them for yourself with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
This newscast sponsored by Mariano Morales Law.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. So check this out. If you've got a fear of snakes like me, this next story is going to give you the creeps. You guys are scared of snakes, right? Not you.
I mean, I'm not a fan of them. If they're
I don't want to
like
see it
an enclosure of some sort,
relaxing.
I'll be okay. Yeah.
If they're not venomous, I'm cool with them. They can do their thing.
Yeah, you were talking about how you've like had one on you before. I've had like a python on me, you know, but
they're cool.
If it's like a controlled environment where someone's there that can take it from me, if something happens and I don't die.
Well, in this case, I don't think it was so cool, but a man was caught trying to smuggle more than 100 live snakes from Hong Kong to mainland China. They were in his pants.
Oh my goodness. So according to China's Customs Authority, the man was recently stopped at a checkpoint, and during inspection, officers found 6 canvas drawstring bags, apparently that keeps snakes in. It was sealed with tape in the pockets of his trousers. Officers then found that each bag contained a number of live snakes in various shapes and colors.
That is just so bizarre. That would have been so
Cargo
uncomfortable
pants,
too.
I guess?
Well, the customs agency did not say if the man was arrested.
That's That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, no.
Snake. Well, from snakes to lizards now, it took 2 reptile experts to wrangle a monitor lizard from a drain on the side of a Phoenix freeway yesterday.
Yeah, well, Arizona state troopers tried to wrangle it, but it escaped through a storm drain. The experts were called in, and in an intense struggle, they were able to pull it from the drain and safely capture it. Now, that is a very big lizard.
You could see it struggling so much in the video. Yeah, I can't do that.
We were battling with time a little bit too, because we were both starting to get a little hot.
Yeah,
and he was getting worn out, the lizard. So we were trying to make sure that we could get him before he cooked in that little culvert there. Yeah.
The Phoenix Herpetological Society is now searching for the lizard's owner. We got him right here. It's Josh. Because he's not scared of him.
Well, now to a much larger animal causing a big traffic headache in Pennsylvania. Check this out. A Texas longhorn broke out of a trailer as it was being transported yesterday afternoon.
The steer disrupted traffic on a busy interstate, and he seemed pretty unbothered by the whole thing. Walking through lanes of traffic, he was even spotted looking into an office space in the area.
That would have been quite the sight. Well, the state's Department of Transportation managed to capture the bull about an hour after his escape.
Sounds like Texas. I was saying it earlier, just a normal day, right?
And you would understand this, but I heard to get the longhorns away, you got to give them a horns down.
No.
They'll give away.
Well, I don't really have a preference, but funny.
Sure.
Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, the C3 Slam basketball tournament takes place this weekend. We have a preview of what you can expect this year if you're planning on going.
And the Benton County Sheriff's Office says they've seen an increase in real estate fraud in the past 30 days, where people are pretending to be property owners, which you need to be aware of coming up.
Have you heard about refractive lens exchange? K2 Vision RLE means no glasses, no contacts, and no readers permanently. And you'll never develop a cataract.
No glasses or readers. K2 Vision RLE.
Need a new furry pal? It's Operation Best Friend from Apple Valley News Now. Each Wednesday, we'll feature lovable pets from area shelters wanting forever homes. Operation Best Friend from Windermere Group 1 and Apple Valley News Now.
It's the 44th anniversary sale at Walker's Furniture.
This is one of our favorite events where we get to celebrate these great years with you.
And that means friends and family pricing throughout the store, with savings up to 44% off. Or get no interest financing for up to 5 years. So you can get it today and pay over time.
From our family to yours, we'd like to thank you for 44 wonderful years.
Indulge in Legends Casino's seafood buffet experience. Discover a feast of premium crab legs, succulent shrimp, and an array of delectable ocean-inspired dishes. Elevate your evenings with Legends Seafood Buffet every Thursday and Saturday starting at 4 p.m.
When it comes to your health, timing is everything. Health First Urgent Care is your reliable healthcare solution, locally owned and operated, providing care to our community. With locations in Pasco and Richland, we're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. No need to wait in long lines or rush to the ER for minor concerns. At Health First Urgent Care, we've got you covered with on-site x-rays and short wait times. Your health is our priority. Walk-ins are welcome. You can get the care you need when you need it. Health First Urgent Care, because your well-being comes first.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet speeds, regardless of where they live. That's why Spectrum offers the fastest speeds in more neighborhoods than any other provider. So switch to Spectrum and get a powerful network that connects nearly 500 million devices.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with free modem, no data caps, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee when you level up to a gig. Call 1-855-735-1336 or scan to call.
With Spectrum Internet, you can power all of your devices to enjoy streaming, video chatting, and gaming with the most reliable internet speeds. Get a powerful network that millions of customers rely on. I rely on Spectrum Internet. You should too.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with 99.9% network reliability, no added taxes or hidden fees, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee. Call 1-855-735-1336.
Call now.
Stop thinking, let things happen, and be the ball. Better yet, see the ball with K2 Vision RLE. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Good Morning Northwest streams all day at AppleValleyNewsNow.com and our mobile apps.
Right now on Good Morning Northwest, the latest scam to hit the area, people posing as property owners trying to sell homes they don't own. We hear from deputies who say there's been a recent increase in this type of fraud.
We told you the library is a good place to use as a cooling center to beat the heat, but one had to shut down yesterday. The reason why coming up. Plus, the C3 Slam basketball tournament is underway. We have a preview of the preparations being made and what to expect this year.
And thankfully, we are past the peak of this heat wave, but it's still going to be pretty hot for today. I'll tell you just how hot coming up right now.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest. On your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica Jalal.
And I'm Jill Sperling. It is Thursday, July 11th, and I just heard Josh say that we're past the peak, but I don't know if that's much comfort since it's still going to be super hot.
Well, we're not supposed to be 110 today. We're supposed to be 100, which, you know, woohoo, right? We'll check in now with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Yeah, you got to take your victories as they come, even as little as they are. So yes, we will be cooler compared to yesterday, but it's still objectively going to be pretty hot outside. Right now, you're taking a live, beautiful look at Pasco. This view coming courtesy of the Dust Devils. Doesn't look like there's as much haze up in the sky for this morning, but again, that is very incumbent on how the fires that are adjacent to us are behaving, especially that fire that's burning off of Lake Chelan. That's the Pioneer Fire. On to temperatures now. They are mild/warm. They've been that way all morning. 50s, 60s, and 70s for Kittitas and Yakima Valleys. And we're also in the 50s, 60s, and 70s for the lower Columbia Basin, and 60s and 70s exclusively for the foothills of the Blue Mountains. Here's your coatcast for today for the Tri-Cities. No coat necessary. It's going to be all t-shirt weather. Around 90 by lunchtime, around 100 by the peak of daytime heating. So for today, instead of being 20 degrees above average, we'll be 10 degrees above average. And I'll tell you, if we have any relief from this sort of heat on the horizon, that's going to be coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Well, in a crime alert now, real estate scams are common, but it has arrived to the Tri-Cities, according to the Benton County Sheriff's Office.
Our Austin Reed spoke with a local real estate agent who's sharing her personal experience on this type of fraud.
And facing a shifting market means you're going to need a little bit more grit.
Ariel Hayes owns Skyview Realty, headquartered in Richland. She has spent decades teaching others about buying or selling a home. So she knows all too well about real estate scams, and she's sharing her story with us.
Just recently, we were contacted by an individual who told us that he owned a property. It was a vacant piece of land located in Kennewick. The person told us that they lived out of area. They just wanted to go ahead and get it sold. They gave us the address, and for us, it instantly seemed fraudulent. The person gave us the wrong zip code.
The Benton County Sheriff's Office says criminals are posing as property owners, fraudulently selling vacant or occupied homes they don't own.
I think that these scams have finally made it out to Benton County. These kinds of scams are ones where nefarious people try to find property that it's usually vacant land. The legitimate owner of the property no longer lives in Washington, or they may have even passed away.
According to the American Land Title Association, when scammers obtain the Social Security and driver's license numbers of the real owners, they then use email and texts to communicate with potential buyers.
Generally speaking, if you own a piece of property, you know what your zip code is. We've had another person call impersonating a seller, and they told me the completely wrong city that their property was located in.
And any real estate agent can be targeted, as their services are needed to get the fraud in motion.
Well, and then if they do pull it off, does that mean it is totally, there's nothing that can be done? It's too late?
No, my understanding is the title company's title insurance would likely have to come into play, and they would have to legally fight it to undo what was done. And the loss of the money, most likely the title company's insurance would have to eat it. So that's why the title companies are so, oh, we got to get on top of it. We got to do the free education, because they're the ones that would be on the hook for it.
Home experts also say as interest rates throttle real estate transactions, expect seller impersonation fraud attempts to only increase.
We go to Pasco now. Usually libraries are open as cooling centers in extreme heat, but the Pasco branch of the Mid-Columbia Libraries had to shut down yesterday morning because of an issue with its HVAC system.
The city of Pasco got crews working quickly and had the system fixed within a few hours. The library was able to reopen at 3 p.m. and is scheduled to be open until 7 on weekdays. We're going to continue seeing those triple digits into the weekend, but the weather won't stop the annual C3 Slam tournament in Richland.
The Tri-City Sunrise Rotary hosts the annual 3-on-3 basketball tournament with the city of Richland. Part of George Washington Way will be shut down for the tournament that starts Friday evening. Terry Marie Fleischman explains how they're getting ready to put the tournament on in the extreme heat.
We are putting in many cooling areas. Sunbelt Rental is helping us with putting in like a human car wash, where you're just going to walk through a series of tents with misters and fans and water to allow people to cool down. We've built in 2 half-hour reprieve sessions. So at 11 a.m. and at 2 p.m., all court play will stop to give everybody about a half-hour opportunity to regroup, rehydrate, get their breath, so to speak, cool down, and then we'll resume play again.
Now, each year, a Tri-Cities eye doctor leads a team of volunteers to Ethiopia to perform cataract surgeries. Every $50 raised by the registrants pay for a surgery. Last year, around $50,000 was raised for the cause.
Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, we've been talking about the heat a lot, and that's because we want to stress to you to always be vigilant, as it is the deadliest weather event.
And when we come back, Chief Meteorologist Josh Culbreth and Riley Fitzgerald go over signs of when you're dealing with a heat illness. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
The best way to end your day.
That is good TV.
Friends, tonight at 11:05.
It's a celebration of cab this summer in Walla Walla. Take part in special tastings of rare library wines, enjoy intimate winemaker dinners, and gain access to premium cabs during the wine panel presentation and tasting. Tickets are on sale now at wallawallawine.com.
The journey home can look a little different to everyone. For some, it's smooth and straight. For others, it's winding vineyard roads or rugged desert trails. But what really matters most is where you're headed. That's why our expert technicians are here to make sure that wherever you feel at home, whether it's when you're hard at work, surrounded by loved ones, or cheering them on from the sidelines, you get there. Our certified and trained vehicle experts are committed to keeping you on the road and getting you there safely. Because we know a vehicle is really more than a vehicle. It's your way home.
Drive home in a new Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 for only $649 a month from Mercedes-Benz of Tri-Cities.
Tiffany Smiley is not who she says she is.
Tiffany Smiley started a PAC claiming to raise money to support conservative candidates, but contributions were funneled to pay off her own $1 million campaign debt.
Of the almost $800,000 she raised, only $24,800 went to candidates. Instead, Tiffany used the money on luxury travel and to try to pay off her massive debt.
Tiffany Smiley deceived her donors. Don't let her deceive you.
I'm Dan Newhouse, and I approve this message.
This is Rhonda. She's a soul line dance instructor. And this is Rhonda's Good Feet story.
I love dancing, but I had to quit paying and hated the fact that I had to sit out a couple dances. But since visiting the Good Feet store and wearing the arch supports, I definitely have not felt the pain. I am able to dance longer, feel happier. My energy levels have increased. Once that energy gets into you and you're feeling good, double stands.
Get back out there with arch supports from the Good Feet store.
It's a celebration of cab this summer in Walla Walla. Take part in special tastings of rare library wines, enjoy intimate winemaker dinners, and gain access to premium cabs during the wine panel presentation and tasting. Tickets are on sale now at wallawallawine.com.
Summer in our area usually means great weather, but every so often a storm moves in.
Count on Apple Valley News Now First Alert Weather to warn you in advance of coming storms.
Stacey Lee Evenings, Josh Colbert Mornings, Apple Valley News Now. First Alert Weather on your side.
Next DT, we're with the stars teeing off in Tahoe, plus a flight status on Top Gun 3 from Miles Teller.
Riding in those F-18s. Let's go.
Next DT.
Tonight at 7 on Apple Valley News Now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. So the heat is on in our area, and it's really important to know what the signs are of when you've had enough and when it's time to take a break.
Apple Valley News Now's Riley Fitzgerald and Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbert have team weather coverage.
So often we tell people, especially in this kind of heat, if you don't have to be outside, if you could just stay in the AC, that would be preferable. But, you know, there are people that have to work jobs outside sometimes. So we know that people can't always necessarily avoid that.
Yeah, like food truck workers whose job is serving food outdoors.
Yes.
So we talked to some of the food truck workers at Summer's Hub about how they're staying cool during this heat wave.
So I've got 3 rapid fire questions about what it's like to work out here in the hot temps. So what do you have back there to keep your guys cool?
I have an AC, that's why we stay cool.
We have a AC and we have other ventilador.
We have a fan that sprays water.
A fan with water, but it's too hot.
It's really hot.
Nothing. We usually have an air conditioner, which is not working very well, and then because we have a hood, it sucks out all the cold air with the hot air. It makes no difference how much cold air you pump in because the hood sucks it out. It's non-discriminate. It doesn't care.
And do you prefer to be out serving here in the heat in 100 plus or in sub 30?
Oh, I'd rather be in sub 30 because all that heating equipment makes it warm in here, and we can do cold. We can do cold easy.
It's hard to decide.
Yeah.
Maybe cuando está caliente.
Maybe when it's hotter, yeah.
Yeah.
Because when it's colder, you have AC, but when it's colder, you just have to stay warm.
And what is the hottest item on the menu?
Our rancher is really hot, and our brisket mac or our mac bowls, which you get our smoked mac and cheese topped with brisket, pulled pork, or both if you would prefer.
Quesadillas.
Quesadillas.
Our menu is popular one is a volcano roll and golden crunchy roll. Those three are very popular roll from here. Yeah, that's a lot of people choosing.
So if you're not properly hydrated in heat like this, heat illness can become a big factor and could set in pretty quickly. So let's go back into the AC, let's go back inside, and let's parse out the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Well, now that we're back inside, back in the AC, we can talk about the different heat elements and the call to action for both of them. Heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. So for heat exhaustion, you'll feel faint or dizzy. There will be excessive sweating. You'll have cool, pale, clammy skin, nausea or vomiting, a rapid, weak pulse, remember that one, and muscle cramps. And the call to action for that would be to get to a cooler place with AC, drink water if fully conscious, take a cool shower, and use cool compresses. Okay, here's the more serious version of that. Here's the more serious element in heat stroke. A throbbing headache, no sweating, red, hot, and dry skin as opposed to the cool and pale and clammy skin, nausea or vomiting, and instead of that weak pulse, a rapid, strong pulse. You may lose consciousness. Here's the call to action for this one, very important. You have to call 911 immediately. You have to move the person to a cooler place, using cool baths or cloths, and do not give anything to drink. It's just a little bit too late at that point. So we're going to go ahead and bring Riley back in here, who's also enjoying the AC. She talked to the health district.
Yes.
Riley, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so I talked to the health district about what we can do to prevent these heat-related illnesses in the first place.
Hydrate even before you are going to an event. Make sure you go into the event really well hydrated. Take water with you, and water is honestly your best solution.
So stay inside if you can, but also drink lots of water. Reporting for Apple Valley News Now, I'm Riley Fitzgerald.
And I'm Josh Colbert.
Thank you, Riley and Josh. And coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, if you're looking for a preview of what that weekend weather will look like, keep it right here.
Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbert lets us know what temperatures we're hitting in that first alert full forecast. We'll be right back.
Bathfitter does showers? That's right. We offer a wide selection of beautiful and functional showers in all shapes and sizes. We can even convert your bath into a shower. How about that? With our seamless one-piece walls and hundreds of design options, you'll get a beautiful new shower to fit your needs, guaranteed for life. Bathfitter's been around for 40 years, and we've been experts at showers for just as long. Get yours today. Bathfitter, it just fits. Go to bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
Smoke City for Less is your one-stop shop in Kennewick, Richland, West Richland, Hermiston, Road 68 in Pasco, and at the new location on West Court Street in Pasco. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. at all 6 locations. Get the lowest prices on the largest selection of vape mods, classic to tropical vape flavors, batteries, cigars, tobacco products, kratom, and specialty products too. Don't waste time in other places. Go to Smoke City for Less. We smoke the competition.
Navigating a real estate transaction can be overwhelming, from finding the right property to navigating the closing process. That's why a successful real estate transaction requires a team of professionals. At Windermere, our team consists of experienced realtors to guide you through the process, an in-house marketing team to maximize your home's exposure, transaction coordinators to ensure accuracy throughout the transaction, and a network of local industry experts. With Windermere on your side, you can have peace of mind and confidence in your real estate journey.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in too.
I am in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
When it comes to legal matters, you need someone you can trust. At Morphine Law Firm, we are sincerely grateful for the last 5 years of trust and support you've given our firm. Your trust and support have been a major driving force behind our mission for justice. We offer free consultations, and we may not always tell you what you want to hear, but we try to steer you in the right direction. We appreciate your continued trust and confidence in Morphine Law Firm.
Are you suffering from stomach pain, a sprained ankle, or does your child have cold or flu-like symptoms? When sudden illness or minor injuries occur, Astria Rapid Care is here for you. Our providers can see you right away with no appointment necessary. Astria Rapid Care is the place for minor emergencies, sprains, cuts, and more, with convenient locations in Prosser, Sunnyside, and Toppenish. Astria Health, exceptional rural health care close to home.
Visit us at our new urban wine bar in historic downtown Kennewick. Choose from a variety of wines and food from our expanded menu. Enjoy time with friends old and new. After hours with riverfront views from our shaded patio, we are Murray Gaston Wine Bar.
Good Morning Northwest streams all day at AppleValleyNewsNow.com and our mobile apps. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. It continues to be a very mild / warm morning for a good chunk of us, as we're in the 50s, 60s, and 70s for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. We're also in the 50s, 60s, and 70s for the lower Columbia Basin, and 60s and 70s for the foothills of the Blues. A little bit later today, it's going to be another hot one, but it's not going to be as hot as yesterday. We're only going to be 10 degrees above average this time, which means mid-90s for the Kittitas Valley, right around 100 for the Yakima Valley, and then we'll likely probably break 100 for parts of the lower Columbia Basin, including for the Tri-Cities, but probably just shy of 100 for the foothills of the Blue Mountains. Should be plenty of sunshine for today. Skies might be a little bit hazy due to some of the adjacent wildfires that are burning, but there will be the threat for fire starts here for today, mainly because of the winds gusting out of the north and west between 20 to 35 miles per hour for the Cascades, for the Kittitas Valley, also for the Yakima Valley. But it's not just because of the winds. The fire fuels are very dry. They're very dead. They're very energized. So fire fuel energy for today compared to historical data points, well, that would be up into the 99th percentile for Kittitas and Yakima County. So almost maxed out. Pretty maxed out in the lower Columbia Basin as well with the 99th percentile, and then almost maxed out with the 98th percentile for the Blue Mountains. So in essence, fires could start or spread very quickly for today, so please use all the fire vigilance. Okay, for tonight, the winds will calm down for the Cascades, but they'll still gust between 20 to 35 miles per hour for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys. Other than that, overnight lows should be a little bit cooler compared to what we're dealing with for this morning, with 50s and 60s, and skies should be fairly clear. Temperatures are going to rebound into Friday, and they'll be just about as warm as we're going to be for today, and they'll hold pretty steady at that level throughout the next 7 days. So yes, we are past the peak of the heat wave, but it's still going to be pretty hot. That means that fuels will continue to be pretty dry, which is why we're going with another first alert extreme impact fire day, more like days, for Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, with extreme emphasis on Monday and Tuesday because of some of the lightning chances. But for tomorrow, the fire fuel energy is really just going to be an extension of today, up into the 99th percentile for Kittitas and Yakima counties, 97th percentile for the Lower Columbia Basin, 99th percentile for the Blue Mountains, and fuels are going to be just about this dry as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is when we do have some lightning chances, especially for the Blue Mountains. Here's the 7-day forecast for the Cascades. We'll have highs in the 70s for the next week. And then for the Kittitas Valley, will be windy for today, a dangerous fire setup, but winds relaxing a little bit after that. Then for the Yakima Valley, highs hovering right around 100 for this next week. And for the Lower Columbia Basin, essentially the same thing, although we'll be a little bit closer to 105 for Saturday and Sunday. For the foothills of the Blues, we'll have 90s over the next 7 days. And then for the Blue Mountains proper, we'll track that chance for lightning over dry fuels for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So a very significant chance of fire starts.
Thank you, Josh. And we'll be right back with the morning sprint and a final check on your forecast.
First, a look at what's ahead on Good Morning America.
In this morning's GMA First Look, it's the second airplane tire scare this week.
Oh! Our blown tire!
This frightening incident caught on camera, a tire exploding mid-takeoff from Tampa.
Emergency, emergency, emergency!
The incident comes just 2 days after a United Airlines flight lost a wheel during takeoff. Flight attendants telling passengers to brace for a bumpy landing.
Aircraft tires are designed to be very, very tough, but they do have the capability of exploding either on takeoff or landing and not doing any harm to the actual wheel. Pilots are trained to handle this, and it usually becomes a very cooperative situation between the tower and the pilots and the company to get the airplane safely back on the ground.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have the latest on what the FAA is saying about these incidents. With your GMA First Look, I'm Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
I have moderate to severe Crohn's disease. Now there's Skyrizi. Things are looking up. I've got symptom relief. Control of my Crohn's means everything to me. Control is everything to me. Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Skyrizi, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements. Skyrizi is the first IL-23 inhibitor that can deliver remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. And Skyrizi is proven to help deliver long-lasting remission at 1 year.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine or plan to. Liver problems may occur in Crohn's disease.
Now's the time to ask your gastroenterologist how you can take control of your Crohn's with Skyrizi. Control is everything to me. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Now, the morning sprint.
Welcome back. Time right now is 6:52.
We're going to get to your first alert forecast in a moment, but we begin with a look at this morning's top stories.
Starting off, fire crews battled the heat in a house fire in Kennewick last night.
Firefighters responded to a home on South Williams Street and 4th Avenue just after 10:30. When the crew got to the scene, they found flames and smoke coming from the home. At this time, it's unknown if there were any injuries. The inside of the home has smoke, fire, and water damage. More information is expected to be released later this morning. And Yakima firefighters responded to a fire near Nob Hill Auto Wrecking on South 24th Street and State Route 24 near the Yakima Arboretum. Many crews were on scene fighting this fire. Yakima firefighters say there has been many fires on the Greenway the past 2 summers, and it takes crews away from the city and limits responses from emergency calls.
A vegetation fire broke out in the Finley area. This was on Meals and Hover roads right near J&S Orchard yesterday. Some trees were burned and roads in the area were shut down for a little over an hour. Nobody was hurt, and firefighters stayed on scene much of the day, mopping up and ensuring the fire did not reignite. No word yet on a cause.
Firefighters are working to suppress a fire within the Umatilla National Forest. The Buck Creek fire is estimated to be around 7 acres in size, burning near Buck Mountain Trail, 3.5 miles southeast of Bingham Springs, Oregon. The fire was first reported yesterday morning. Firefighters are working to fight the fire from the ground, and multiple aircraft are also being used. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
The Pasco Fire Department put out a house fire yesterday morning on Riverview Drive. Temperatures were already in the 80s. Fire officials say they were able to save the house, but it has some serious damage. No firefighters or residents were hurt during the fire, and officials say it was under control within 5 minutes of arrival.
The Benton County Sheriff's Office says it has seen an increase in real estate fraud within the last 30 days. It says criminals are posing as property owners, fraudulently selling vacant or occupied residences that they do not own. The Sheriff's Office says to call them immediately if you suspect fraud like this.
The West Richland Police Department is getting over $36,000 to help prevent car thefts in the city. The funding is from the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority, and it's meant to help create and maintain programs that prevent this type of crime. The money also supports auto theft task forces and prosecutors and helps provide officers and detectives with training and equipment. And there were more than 40,000 car thefts in 2023 in all of Washington, but that number is trending lower this year.
Kennewick police say the 72-year-old man who robbed a bank last month will spend more than a decade in prison. Police say 72-year-old Keith Foster pleaded guilty to robbing the Chase Bank in Kennewick on June 13th. Investigators managed to track Foster down and arrest him within hours of the crime. Foster was sentenced earlier this month, and Kennewick police say they were able to return the stolen money to the bank yesterday.
The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Washington is asking the courts to condemn an alleged drug house in the 100 block of Ruby Street in Ellensburg. According to the civil forfeiture complaint, the property has been a hotbed of drug usage and drug dealing for years. The complaint also claims EPD conducted multiple controlled buys of illegal narcotics, including fentanyl, meth, and heroin at the home, which is just down the street from a preschool. The goal to get that conduct to stop. If the complaint is successful, federal officials say they plan to turn that property into something that will be a resource for the community.
The Pasco branch of the Mid-Columbia Libraries had to shut down yesterday morning because of an issue with its HVAC system. The city of Pasco got crews working quickly and had the system fixed within a few hours. The library was able to reopen at 3 p.m. and is scheduled to be open until 7 on weekdays.
And we'll check in now with Josh for a final look at your first alert forecast this morning. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Jessica. It is going to be another hot day, but thankfully it's not going to be as hot as yesterday, but will still be above average. For right now, 60s and 70s for the Kittitas and Yakima Valleys, 50s, 60s, and you know what? I changed my mind because the temperatures changed their mind as well. 60s and 70s for the lower Columbia Basin and 60s and 70s for the foothills of the Blues. A little bit later today will still be about 10 degrees above average, but that's better than the 20 degrees above average we were for the past couple of days. So past the peak of the heat wave, still hot conditions will be right around 100 for the Tri-Cities. Also, it's going to be pretty blustery today, especially for the Kittitas Valley, which is why we're going with a first alert extreme impact fire day, but not just for the Kittitas Valley, for the entirety of the viewing area, as the fuels are going to be very dry. And we'll be just about as hot in a Friday, and honestly we'll be just about as hot for the next 7 days. So yes, past the peak of the heat wave, but still keeping things hot, which means that fuels will continue to be dry, and we'll have more first alert extreme impact fire days on the horizon.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you for waking up with us and watching Good Morning Northwest. GMA is next.
Your local news is back tonight at 5, and you can always find the latest updates on our website, applevalleyNewsNow.com.
Have a great day.